Right, I'm here. What are we talking about today? I don't have anything in my hands. Usually when I talk about the lens, I've got in my hands. I don't today because I am actually filming with it in a hotel room, as you can see. Today I am talking about Sirui 20mm T1.8 cinema anamorphic lens with autofocus. This lens has been out for a while and it has been available together with a 40mm for Sony E, Nikon Z, Fuji X, Micro Four Thirds, but now it's also available in L mount for Lumix cameras. I'm pairing it with amazing S1II because I think this lens and this camera are perfect match together. This is not a review, but more a video about how I feel about this lens and what you can do with it. Obviously the biggest giveaway that it is an anamorphic lens are the flares, and this lens is available with natural looking flares, so basically flares in the color of the light source, or the classic anamorphic blue flares like these. This is a blue streak version. This has been made famous by Steven Spielberg and J.J. Abrams. You must have seen it before. We all have seen this. What really put me off from using anamorphic lenses before is the manual focusing. Although doable, and I don't mind doing manual focusing, you can't do the same stuff you can do with autofocus. Autofocus makes everything so much easier. I was very curious how it feels, how it performs. Does it give me that ultimate cinematic look? So this is what I have fun with it. Check it out.
I'm Paul. I manage a record shop, Townsend Records in Clitheroe. But when you stream music, you don't get anything tangible. You feel the record, you've got the kit, the cover, you've got the liner notes, you've got the record itself. It's just a more real thing. You get something for your money, something that you can borrow and lend to friends and recommend to people. Kids now are coming back to vinyl. The best thing is when they're streaming on Spotify or whatever, they're listening to one track generally and then they skip to another track by somebody else. They don't give an album the time, and they do now. Now they're coming back to like an Arctic Monkeys album. They'll sit, they'll listen to it, they'll get up halfway through, turn it over, listen to it, and they'll listen to the whole album. And that's why albums were made, to be listened all the way through, not just a single track here and somebody else there. It's society now is very throwaway, very I want this, that, and I don't want it anymore, change it. Albums are more, you invest more time, more of yourself in it. Well, people come here for many things. When you're streaming, you don't generally find new artists. When you come in here, you're looking through an album, a set of albums. You might think, well, that looks nice, that looks interesting, I wonder what that is. And you can ask me to play it, and they'll go, oh, I like that, or I don't like that. You can recommend things to people, and people come here because people like to talk about music. They like to ask other people's opinion, argue about music, give their opinion about music. It's just a communal space where people can get passionate about music. You don't get that with streaming and other such things.
So what is anamorphic? Anamorphic is a special type of lens used by Hollywood for decades. It's a lens which allows you to get wider field of view from the standard size recording device. So obviously in the past it was film, now we're talking about the mirrorless cameras and a sensor. So normal mirrorless cameras record 16:9 standard video, 16:9 aspect ratio, that means 16 squares horizontally and 9 squares vertically. This lens is different. This lens creates really squeezed in footage. So when you record a 16:9 standard video, it looks very thin, it looks very squashed in. You have to unstretch it in post. This lens and a 40mm are very standard anamorphic at 1.33 times squeeze. What it means, in the post you have to stretch the footage out by 1.33 times, and that creates normal looking footage but also much narrower. This creates 2 to 35 to 1 aspect ratio out of 16:9 footage, as you can see right now. This is APS-C lens for a crop sensor cameras, but I am using another full frame camera and there's no problem with it. And although with APS-C lenses on the full frame cameras, you get a heavy vignetting around, so you do have to use it in S35, Super 35 or APS-C modes, so to crop in and avoid the vignetting. Here it's so minimal that it's possible, especially on Lumix S1II, it is possible to use in a full frame mode without any problems. All I had to do is brighten the corners just a tiny little bit, no problem whatsoever. Also, filming with this lens on the full frame camera, you do get that very specific to anamorphic distorted perspective a little bit, which is kind of cool. This lens is certainly not about sharpness or the specs, it's more about the feeling. This is something a lot of filmmakers chase constantly, the cinematic look. But what defines cinematic look? A lot of people think that shallow depth of field, that creamy blurred background defines cinematic. A lot of people think it's a color grade, how specifically you color your video to make it look cinematic. But for me, this defines cinematic. Not only it is a wide aperture lens and you do have a nice shallow depth of field, but that look, the specific look, it's not just that narrow frame, but also the way the background blurs. You get that really squashed bokeh. It's something we don't think about or know about, but we do subconsciously from watching the movies. If you ever watch movies, you have seen this look. The autofocus for me is a game changer. It's not just keeping eyes sharp when someone is sitting like me right now, is steady, but it's the going forward motion or going back, the stuff that you can change the distance between you and the subject, and the lens will do all the job. It is very difficult to get that manually focus while you're doing it all by yourself. Combine this lens and the look it creates with the colors and the recording formats of S1II, and you do get instantly not only pretty capable cinema camera, hybrid cinema camera, but also this cinema lens. It has got gears on it, so you can attach it to follow focus system, just like you would with normal manual lens, and you can use it in the manual if you want to, but whole beauty of this lens is this autofocusing. It is T1.8 wide aperture, so perfect for low light situations. You do have a nice subject to background separation, but it is also very small. For anamorphic lens, it is a very small lens, only 480 gram, very good lens to use on a gimbal. Although not dirt cheap comparing to what anamorphic lenses usually cost, or what would any f1.8, T1.8 wide angle prime would cost, $680 or 690 pounds right now. It's not very expensive for an anamorphic lens which can autofocus and works this well. For me, this is the first anamorphic lens that is very easy to use and very easy to shoot with. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. And this is it from me. I hope this video was in some way helpful. Like, subscribe if you want to, you know the drill, and I'll see you in the next one.